I want to teach you how to successfully trade this cryptocurrency bear market. In this video, I will be primarily focused on the Bitcoin bear market, but how this is for sure going to be correlating to the altcoins and how we can look to trade those too. This video is not to produce fear. On the contrary, I actually want to be showing you, well, the positivity of a bear market. At the end of the day, another cycle of a bull market will come. This is a wonderful opportunity, even for the people that I don't agree with, but the people that only want to take longs. There's still opportunities to come. But of course, I'm going to be focused on actionable trade setups that we can actually be taking. I have a whole wealth of experience trading over the past, coming on now, nearly 15 years of trading. So I've got a lot of experience on my back here. And so this is not my first rodeo. This is not my first bear market. I've traded several different cycles, bull into bear, bull into bear, bull into bear, bull into bear. So from that experience, I want to be using that to teach you today. Okay, from mistakes that I have made in the past and mistakes that I see traders today still making every single day. So I want to be touching on those mistakes and really telling you how to avoid them. It's not too difficult. You just need to listen very carefully to what I am telling you. So yeah, I truly hope that you enjoy this video. We'll be going over what, why, and when this bear market is happening. The short trades, I'm heavily in short trades across every single account I own. They are in shorts. As you know, I closed all of my long trades from much lower and entered into some very, very big short trades. So safe to say that this cycle, the bear market, we have traded very well at Chart Champions. So if this is your first video, you might think, wow, what have I missed? You've missed quite a lot already, but that's not a bad sign, right? There's still a lot more to come. So with that said, let's come over to the charts and start to explain how, for sure, you can still successfully trade this Bitcoin bear market. So starting off here, this is my challenge account that I've had. This is what I call like my small little public trading challenge account. So this was a short that we had from the swing failure pattern at a range high at the time. And as you can see, those shorts taken up there, not a single long trade has been taken since the high of that fake out of the range high. And, this is truly how one of the biggest mistakes that I'm going to talk you through today is what I see is people taking long day after day. They're thinking the low is in long. I'm going to teach you how to avoid this. But I also see people saying things like, oh, it can't be a Bitcoin bear market because we haven't had the euphoria. We haven't even seen an alt season and all these types of reasons. And at the end of the day, we need to focus on the charts. So let's bring it to the charts, right? Let's go over the first very big mistake that I've seen people making. And that is trying to long every single low. Every single low I've seen people saying they're taking the longs, they're taking the longs, they're taking the longs, they're taking the longs. And what is one very simple way that you can avoid this? And it's called knife catching. It's wait for a sign of strength. And what is the most simple? There are a few various ways we can do this, but what is the number one most simple way? It is a market structure change. And what have we had since that? Retest of the range value area low. Remember that, and this is another short I have on another account from the $107,500 value area low retest, where we had that retest to the exact dollar. This was a trade that we were waiting over a week for. Remember, we had our alert set bang on the absolute high. Anyway, we have traded this very well, but enough of that. What have we had since that value area low retest? It has very simply been high, low, lower high, lower 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 low. Has there been a single market structure change here, or has it been every single high made is a lower high, and every single low made, of course, is a lower low? We are in a very strong downtrend. Do you think that this is a good time to try and aggressively time every single low that's made? Well, if you've been watching my analysis over the past month, you will know no. And also, just to show you over the past 24 hours, even though we've hit into some very significant levels there, we even had the Nvidia earnings yesterday, which were positive. You had a little intraday rally from that, yes, but it was still lots of shorts, looking for lower, no longs for me, looking for lower. And again, like I say here, there's no sign of strength. Why would I not be happy to just be in my short? The shorts from $126,000, literally the high of the bull market. So yeah, for me, it's just one mistake that people need to just start to pick up onto quickly. And that is you can wait for a sign of strength. You do not need to try and time the exact bottom of this market. In fact, if you have been trying to do that over the past few weeks, you have just continuously lost money, okay? Where you can just wait for some strength and then, you know, take some profits on your shorts, start to look for some longs. But until proven otherwise, the market is super weak. The market will be going lower. And so, you know, it's best to remain patient. And that's one thing that we definitely have at Chart Champions, that is a lot of patience. And that is one of the main secret sauce recipes of actually becoming a successful trader. I actually want to talk you through in this video where we can be looking for some real significant levels of a potential bear market low, and how we can be looking to trade this even locally. Because as you know, I do think for a nice short, you want to wait for a rally, but also at the same time, there hasn't been a lot of opportunity for new shorts because you've not seen any significant rally. Okay, so with that in mind, you know, there's a few different really key concept theories that I need to talk you through in this video. So, you know, stay tuned to the end. First of all, I want to talk you through some really nice things of, you know, the course of this bear market. So just a few little things here. Of course, this was me posting just prior, one day prior to the biggest liquidation run in the history of Bitcoin on October the 10th. This was obviously from October the 7th. We had our short, well, October the 6th, we had our shorts, confirming it one day later on Twitter. For, you know, the information first and foremost, you always have to be in the champions group. So you can see on the 26th, on the 6th of October, when we took those shorts, confirming that in the day. 27th, of course, confirming it on Twitter. But then doing the biggest bear post I've ever done on the 9th of October, which was one day before the biggest liquidation run in the history of Bitcoin, telling people, please listen carefully. It's really not often I'm wrong. New massive weekly lows are coming. The people getting excited on each and every rise are missing the bigger picture here. And unfortunately, they are going to get trapped. You know, this bigger bear market posting fully short has continued. People were trolling me thinking I had shorted the bottom at some point. And then this was a funny one. The same guy a few days later saying, well, gonna take your advice and short. Anyway, you see how the story goes. This is the final post that I wanted to say through here, and then that was this. Imagine if we shorted the exact top yesterday. This was obviously the short from the 6th of October. Imagine we shorted the exact top yesterday, and this is where I say, when you are a champion, dreams of shorting the top absolutely have come true. Imagine you shorted the top. It was the top. We did short the top. We closed all of our longs for massive profit. People there saying, you know, bear market confirmed, 100% yes. Like, you know, the signs were there. That's all we can say. The signs were there if you were a chart champion. Anyway, if this is your first video, you can see what was possible, what we did do, and now I'll move on to what are we looking at next then. So I had to have that little bit of a solid dance at the start of the video. Had to be. Anyway, so, you know, how can we actually be looking to trade this bear market then? So I would be saying, in terms of where is the most obvious significant level that you can be looking at, first of all, of course, it's going to be these lows. Okay, this is a very obvious drawing point of liquidity. $74,400. Do I think you need to look at it as an exact dollar? Of course not. This is not an exact dollar. You start to look at this as, well, when we talk about key liquidity levels, well, of course, it's going to be at that major low from April. And I just can't believe that we're already back. Well, I can believe, but at the same time, it's like this market has given everything back, everything back from its April lows, which is just crazy when you think about it. But hey, that's how the cycles go. That's how the cycles go. And so when I talk about major liquidity levels, that has to be viewed at $74,000. Will that be the low of the bear market? Well, of course, we have to make informed decisions if and when we hit those levels. And I think there's a very high probability of hitting those levels. But in terms of, if this is just the start of our first corrective move to the downside, okay, you can see this almost forming a 1, 2, very impulsive 3. So if this is just the start of the correction in terms of a 5-3-5, it's, you know, it's definitely very realistic that this can be pulling back towards $60,000-$50,000. I'm not going to say that that is unlikely. I fully believe that that is a very real possibility. Of course, as a trader, I understand probabilities, and this, if I had to tell you one thing that and again, I'm not doing this to brag, but if I had to say like one thing that I what other people would say about me of what makes me a good trader is that I understand probabilities. A lot of people come into trading, and this is a massive mistake every single day of the week that people make. They think that there's some 100%. They think they want certainty. They want to be told, oh, this is exactly what's going to happen. Again, if you've watched our videos over the past month or so, you will know we have had very high probabilities of drops to come. We've been very confident in shorts. We've been very confident saying short any rally that comes, right? But I've never had 100% certainty because it's impossible. It is a game of probabilities. It is trading, my friends. And so, when I talk about probabilities, I also understand how to adapt, right? You have to be like water, okay? If today I am openly saying I'm very, very bearish indeed, but if I start to see signs of strength, if I start to see reclaims, if I start to see trapped shorts and volume increases, okay, if I start to see that order flow and open interest showing signs of a reversal, well, that's when I will also reverse. So you see what I say there? I mean, I will trade the chart. The chart right now is undeniably massively bearish. So guess what I am? I'm undeniably massively bearish. And that is not from just today. That has been for a long time now, right? Since we closed all of our longs on, I had longs from, for example, Solana, $99. I had Bonk longs. I had Bitcoin longs from way back in the chart. They were all closed. All of those longs were closed. We went into massive short trades, Look at this. When you close massive longs from much lower, are you expecting a bigger correction? Yes, absolutely. Start of the bear market sort of thing, right? It's not a random reason I closed all those longs and went into shorts with all of the profits. Anyway, you have to just understand I'm not getting bearish at the lows. I've been bearish for a very long time now. But anyway, I digress on that topic as well. I understand, I'm trading the charts. Okay. So while I see zero signs of weakness, while I see, also weakness in the stocks, remember, I've sold my Nvidia, $210 I got filled, which is at the very top of the mirror. Some people are going to strongly think I'm insider trading, I'm sure, because we've sold the top on crypto, on altcoins, on Bitcoin, and then in the top on Nvidia. Wow. Track record is going very well. That's all I can say. But in terms of, the probabilities here, absolutely everything is very much pointing towards lower. When we look at the Elliot wave count as well, this is looking very impulsive. So this really can be viewed, of course, it could be an ABC zigzag, but it's seemingly much more likely like an impulse. And that means we're only around halfway through the correction. Again, if this is a bigger 5, let's say we get our 5, then you will get this 3 to the upside before another 5 waves to the downside. And that's where that can bring you down towards, that $40,000, right? But there will be a rally. And it's on this rally where a lot of people will be thinking, oh, the low is in, the bull market's back on. And again, in terms of probabilities, could we put in a low and then rally to all-time highs? Of course, that is possible. But and this is why I really, really mean it. You have to analyze the data. I would be absolutely aware of a scenario where we can put in a low and rally to all-time highs. But I would be aware of the higher probability scenario of a rally, which of course I'm looking to long, but taking that into shorts for continuation to the downside. So I just really, really, really mean this. If there's one thing you take away from this video, it's you have to have a few different trade scenarios, and you have to be able to adapt between the two. Again, I could have, let's say, 10 different trade scenarios, but I'm only going to be trading one of them. Okay, and that's the key there. You have to be prepared for those different scenarios, but you're only trading the actual highest probability one. Like it's the same. I will have a bullish and a bearish Elliott wave count, but I'm only trading what I feel is the highest probability count. And what's actually funny right now is the bullish and the bearish Elliott wave count were both equaling lower prices to come. So sometimes that's just like even more golden, where you have two different counts, but they both signal lower prices next. And that's what we're in right now for Bitcoin. So it was very nice from an Elliott wave perspective as well. But I want to give you some real actionable where we can be looking for some new good trades. Well, I've just mentioned the bigger drawdown towards $70,000, right? But in terms of the downtrend anchored VU, that's now coming in at $94,000. If we look at this downtrend volume profile, that point of control now coming in at $91,000 until we have a value area low No, this honestly is the thing here, that you're not having any what I call like real perfect confluence. When you talk about perfect trades, I've said it before, you've had three. Obviously the overall highs, the fake out swing failure pattern at $116,000, and then the retest of the value area low. Those were three absolute golden opportunities. But since then, you've not had a lot. Okay, why? Because there's not been any rallies since the retest of that value area low, and that's why it was such a massive short that we had to be taking there at 107,000. But yeah. So what I'm saying here is it's a little bit difficult to say, oh yeah, this is a really key level, because I mean, even the rally up to the point of control here, it's not what I would call a significant rally to the upside, right? But if we start to think about, okay, where is going to be lining up some confluence, where we got $94,000 downtrend anchored VWAP, again, that over the next few days will be lining up with around that point of control. And at the end of the day, if we're looking at this as a move to the downside, right? This is all just real one impulsive move to the downside. That can still rally there and move down even locally with a lower high. So it's like one of those things that the resistance is absolutely massive right now. It's absolutely stacked. So yeah, I suppose locally, again, there's not really anything that I would look at this and say that is a massive level of resistance, right? Our massive levels of resistance are much, much, much higher. But also at the same time, those massive levels of resistance are not likely to be hit. Why? Because the market is super weak. So it's unlikely you get a massive rally, right? So this is where you have one of two options. You have to be more aggressive, taking these not a golden opportunity, not bad opportunities, right? But just not what we class as golden, amazing opportunities. Or you're in shorts from higher. You can just simply be short and chill. You don't need to be aggressively trading anything right now. There's no reason to be aggressively longing. There's no reason to be aggressively short, and you're in your shorts, you're in your profits, and it really is what we say, short and chill. But yeah, of course, not everybody is in that position, and so then you have to be a little bit more aggressive. And again, right now, I'd probably be saying that downtrend anchored VWAP, again, it's making its way down over the next few days, can give you a nice opportunity. And even before that liquidity that we have here, you can see this big zone that we have here between $77,000 and $79,000. If you want to see a rally to the upside, it would be nice, let's say, to see a move that holds up into that support zone and gives you that rally. Again, on this rally, are we going to get super excited and say the low is in, it's start of the bull market? Of course not. But again, could it be the low of the bear market? Could it be the start of a rise to all-time high? Possibly, yes. But nobody that's actually a good trader would be saying that that's confirmed at that point in time, because even if we get this rally from $79,000 to $90,000, what is it? Well, it's still a lower high at that time. There's still no strength behind the move, and that is why we have to confirm it with the order flow. Everything is about volume. Okay, it is as simple as that. That's how you have those high steps of confirmation. So a few last little things here that I wanted to say before we end. And the first here is a really interesting one for you all. And that is in 2026, I'm actually going to be making a new course of, if this is of interest to you, how to transition from cryptocurrency to futures trading. So like the stock market, the indexes such as ES and NQ, like how to make that transition. So if you're interested in that, I will show you this, that we actually now have a new partner. For the first time ever, we've partnered with a regulated futures broker, EdgeClear. So just to make you aware of that, of course, in terms of US, there is restrictions in terms of opening the accounts, but for everybody else, it is all good and dandy. But just to make you aware of that anyway, we have now got that partnership, and I will be making a new course of how to switch from crypto to stocks. So if that's of interest, we're also going to be releasing options course. So if you want to get into trading options, these are all things that are coming in Chart Champion. So we've got a lot of new things coming. And the final thing that I wanted to remind you of is we still have got, for a limited time left now, the Black Friday sale up to 30% off. So if you wanted to become a champion, truly now is the best time than ever. You got the biggest discount we're ever going to do. We've got new courses coming out. We're giving new features, how to trade futures, how to trade options, how to make that switch. I am personally not making the switch in terms of I'm not going to trade crypto. I will forever and always be primarily trading crypto, but it's nice to have the backup option of trading stocks, of trading futures, right? So anyway, that's what we want to teach in our upcoming next course. So and of course, as a champion, you can dream of shorting a high, and dreams come true. So yeah, that was my video of today. I've talked you through the common mistakes I see people making. That is long. just wait for a sign of strength. Again, I am a trader that will attempt some aggressive longs at times. You know, it's not to say I haven't tried any longs during this downtrend, because I have attempted a few longs. Of course, ultimately they've hit stop loss, but the majority have hit take profit one first. But a few losses I've also taken on this downtrend with lower term time frame longs. But I understand I have my shorts. Even if I take a long, it's on a smaller starting position. So there's a lot of ways to manage these trades. But yeah, to summarize, a very easy way to avoid taking any losses at all on longs is wait for the sign of strength. Okay, that's not 100% guarantee, but at least you're not long in extreme weakness. So anyway, I talked you through that. Some big liquidity targets, the bigger ABC Elliot wave count, how we can be looking for shorts, but I would wait for at least a little bit of a rally. And yeah, the upcoming features that we have with the, obviously right now, limited time left Black Friday sale, and the new futures and options trading courses that we are making. So I think that's going to be an exciting start to 2026 too. So anyway, hope you've enjoyed this video. Yeah, if you want more, you know where to get it, right? chartchampions.com. That is where you have the whole educational library and inside of the inside group. So anyway, that's me signing out. Hope you've truly enjoyed this video. Thank you ever so much, and I'll see you in the next. Cheers. Thank you, and goodbye.